Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio, the greenest man in the forest, it's Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, oh yeah, I needed a shit in a bush. I needed a poo. I had to cover myself.
You don't wipe yourself with
no, but I had to put
nettles.
Got leaves and all that round my head, and then I could pick them off one by one.
Poison ivy or poison oak.
Oh, you don't want to sit in that, no.
Well, besides Taylor's woodland habits, we've got a very interesting show this week. We're going to be talking about the legend of the Green Children of Woolpit.
Yeah, but you've never heard of him, have you?
It's interesting. It's a very interesting story. It's left historians and researchers puzzled for many years and concerns two children of unusual green skin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Could they be aliens? Could they be... Oh, who knows? We'll be looking into it a little bit later on in the show.
We will, indeed.
The Children of Woolpit. Hey.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into all that, what have you been up to this week, Mr. Taylor?
Me, not real much, to be honest. Just regular research and just laying about a bit, I think.
You lay about. Super lay about.
Yeah. I'm just chilling, man. You know what I mean? Trying to wonder what the fuck's going on with the world at the minute.
Trying to make sense of the world at the moment.
It's a bit fucking crazy, man. And you don't know what, like, from day to day if something's going to fucking
honestly, first thing I do in the morning is I check the news headlines and it is like, oh my days. Yeah. I've got to say, right, considering, you know, like a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago, it was all like, gotta help everyone, you know, even through all this fucking pandemic shit, we've all been like, gotta save lives, gotta keep people living. Yeah. And then what do we do? Destroy. As soon as we fucking walk out the front door, we're allowed out.
Yeah. We all kick off and go, right, you know what? No,
take a minute, people. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think it's more leaders than the people, you know.
No, I know. Well, it's a bit of...
You need a slap around the fucking ear.
It's a bit of both in a lot of ways, but...
Well, yeah, that is true.
You need to chill out. Right, anyway. Nice we all need a chill out moment.
What have you been up to anyway?
Been a bit of a busy week this week.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've been doing a lot of stuff, really. Been doing a lot of research for personal stuff and...
playing with your wood, weren't you?
Playing with my wood.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I built a bow.
You did,
I've been talking about doing this for a while, actually, but it was one of them.
Now you've done it.
Well,
looks all right as well.
I'm a person who likes to do what I say I'm going to do is what I say. Do you know what I mean? It's like I have these ideas, but rather than just going, oh, yeah, could have done that.
Yeah,
why not bloody do it? Yeah, I've wired I'm actually... I did it a few years ago, so when I was a teen, I bought, I've made a bow, and it was good. It was very, very powerful, and it was really cool.
Do a lot of damage, did you?
Got into archery a little bit, but I didn't join a club or anything like that, but I went to one of these Renaissance fair things, and they had like an archery bit, and I was like, oh, I've got to have a go at that. So we had a go, and the woman was like, hey, you're all right, aren't you? So you should join the club. And I was like...
Olympic star,
Well, no, I was like, I've never done it. I've never done this before. Like, but I have. I've been in my back garden with a homemade bow. That's one thing. But, So, like, for ages I've been like, oh, what, I get a new bow. But, like, it's one of those where it's like, I can't justify spending... pounds on stuff like that
go out and make
fun.
It yourself.
Exactly, So, like, I went out, I've been sourced myself some sticks.
Yes,
wood,
you did.
And, spent a good day making a cool piece of thing. Yeah. And I'm pretty pleased with it. So, other than that...
classy, man.
But,
you just got to make arrows now. Seems you lost your only one.
I was going to buy arrows. I did. I actually, I lost my only arrow. It went flying off into the distance.
In someone's eye. Called Harold.
Sorry, Harold. But, so I've been trying to be a bit creative, but, like, obviously I had stuff to do as well. So, like, been trying a bit of business, bit of pleasure.
Yeah, it's always a good combination.
Yeah.
Bit of each.
Got a cool episode coming up next week.
Yes, we have,
So dreams do come true. Yeah, we've got, we're talking dreams next week, dream analysis, and we're joined by a special guest, so make sure you make sure you subscribe, join us next week for that.
Yeah.
But before obviously, we've got stuff to talk about today, green children and whatnot.
We are.
Chain connections.
Oh, yeah.
So, we did have a winner this week.
Oh, we got smart ass.
Yeah, we do, indeed. Nina, is it Tidesman from Wichita, Kansas.
Wichita.
Guess the correct answer last week, which was Data.
Yes, it was.
Not Star Trek guy.
No, it wasn't Mr. Data. It was data as in your private data, your
private
data
information.
Well,
I've no idea how she got it because I was honestly stumped.
Obviously smart.
I can't remember most of the thing here. I remember like you telling me, and I was like, I didn't get it on the day.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh God, yeah, I need to. If anyone messages me and says, "Is this the answer?" I'm not going to know.
Yeah.
So I was like, I had to ring Taylor this week and say, what was the answer?
Yeah.
But Nina got it right. Congratulations, you are our Smarty Pants of the week.
You are indeed. Smarty Pants.
You join the other winners in the Smarty Pants Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah,
we got some more. Glory. Got some more clues though, haven't we?
We have indeed. Yes.
Well, you deliver those.
I will. Okay.
I've got to kind of, pay attention.
You do, right? You paying attention now?
Not yet. 1 minute.
No, 1 minute. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hang
you
on.
Ready?
No. 1 sec.
No. Yeah. Let me take. Okay. Well, the first one is this item become more famous in the Vietnam War.
Right. Nylons. No, that was World War II, wasn't it? Chocky and nylons.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. Number two.
So wait, let me just say that again. So this item became more valuable.
Famous.
So more famous?
Yeah. I'd say more famous.
Right. Okay.
So it's done something that's made it more popular than it had been before.
In the Vietnam War?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the second one is, it's great on putting things together.
IKEA.
Oh, yeah. Nuts and bolts.
No, DIY. Go on.
And the third and last one is, it's a little bit sticky. Just a little bit.
Jam.
Jam roly-poly.
I don't know. So say those again. It came more popular, more famous during the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Go on.
It's great on putting things together.
It's great on putting things together, or at putting things together.
You could
either way, right? Yeah, no, because how you say these things makes all the difference.
That's true.
I find
that's true. And it is a little bit stickier. Is your third clue?
Okay. Crude oil, I don't know, maybe.
Crude oil?
Well, if you've got a guess, I've just come up with a few there, but obviously, try and make a connection. Yes.
I'd like to see if you get this.
I'm already struggling, so you're making them harder. Supposed to make them moderately easy.
I tell you, I had some hard ones in the back of my head going like, shall I do that? No, it's going to be too hard for him.
Well,
it's really going to be too hard.
Anyway, in a couple of weeks' time, the return of What's Fucked Up Where You're From.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming back.
It is indeed.
So, if you've got any random strange happenings going on around where you live...
that you have.
Email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. And you could be featured on the show. We'll talk about what's going on in your area, your neck of the woods.
We all live in an area
there's
where
always
there's
something
a
strange going on. Do you know what I mean? Have you seen a ghost? Is there a folklore around your area? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
UFO?
I think this is what we're talking about tonight, is a bit of a folklore.
Yeah.
But before we do go into that, this episode is in affiliation with HelloFresh. HelloFresh is offering 50% off its first box, 20% off its next free.
Oh,
it's fresh, pre-prepared ingredients and delicious recipes delivered every week. You can save 50%, like I say, at the moment, off your first box, and 20% off your second, third, and fourth. So that's less time shopping, cutting up food, and wasting food.
Definitely worth it.
Because they send you exactly what you need. It's enjoyable, and obviously you get a delicious meal at the end of it. It's no commitment.
No.
HelloFresh is a rolling weekly meal kit delivered straight to your door, with no terms or commitment.
Nope.
You choose what goes in the box, and if you want it, it's all delivered fresh and straight to your door. So, there you go. If you want to skip or cancel a week, that's not a problem either. Yeah. There you go.
They're obliged.
So, make sure you go do that. Link is in the description.
It is.
But tonight, you know what you've come here for. We're only 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
We try and speed these things up because, we do get some complaints.
We do indeed.
I will say this before we move on, though, right? Yeah. Because, obviously, we do have a bit of a format. Yeah. Yeah, we try to stick to, And I know we do have the hook story or the hook, whatever we talk about, as a main topic. And for a good 40%, 60% of the show, we do talk about that. We still do get people going, I had to wait 15 minutes before you started talking about the aliens. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. But
we have to give our viewers that listen to us constantly, give them a little bit of who we are and what we do.
There are plenty of those types of things on YouTube and all that, though.
And there's also a fast-forward button as well.
Yeah, totally. But, if you, on YouTube, they generally do just jump straight in and, it's like, today we're going to be talking about, and then it's, straight in. And that's great. But
we give it a little bit extra, a little bit here and there.
There you go, well said. So on that thing, we're going to be talking about tonight about the Green Children. Basically, it's a bit of an interesting story, and we were talking about it earlier, and I think it was one of those where it was like, I was kind of thinking, is there a lot to this? Yeah. And the more we discussed it, I think there was definitely more.
Yeah, there was more to it. Even though the tale, it seems to be a little small tale, there's a lot of things around it.
It's kind of a small sort of folklore or folk legend. And like the legend of the Green Children of Woolpit, like I said earlier, concerns two children who appeared with unusual skin colour. Like a green tinge. Yeah. They reportedly appeared in the village of Woolpit near Suffolk in England at some time around the 12th century, around the reign of King Stephen.
Yeah, and King Henry II, I believe.
Yeah, so the children's were apparently brother and sister. Yeah. So they worked
that out later on.
They say this, but there's been two sort of versions of the story, and only one of them said they were brother and sister. I think. But let's say they are for this. Yeah. So they were basically discovered with this green-coloured skin. They spoke an unknown language. Yeah. And
in different material of clothing as well.
Yeah, so the clothing was like a weave that the locals had never heard before. Or never seen before. Yeah. Like the dialect was something that they'd never heard.
Yeah.
They were a bit of an oddity. They
weren't local.
So they've been discovered by local workers who were doing threshing and seed sowing and doing work in the fields, right? And
if they're on the break.
So all of a sudden these two kids appear, and no one's got a clue where they're from. No. They can't get anything out of them because they're not speaking the language. No. And when they were offered food, they became upset.
They were offered
didn't want to take anything. They were a bit kind of unsure what things were. And whether they were okay.
I think scared they were probably a bit scared in that, and they wouldn't accept bread, like you were saying. They cried soon as they were given broad to eat, and they hadn't ate for 7 days. I think it was.
Apparently after about a week or so, they basically broad beans were put in front of them,
gobbling
and
them up
they were like, yes, this is. They realised that was something they recognised, and they were eating it.
Yeah.
There's some even kind of things speculating that would you kind of obviously if you consisted on a diet of nothing but beans, would you have a green tinge? Well, you were talking about, what was it?
Mr. Bean, I think it was called.
Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson,
no,
Mr. Bean.
There was a European fella who dressed up as a bean, and he used to, do charities and that, and, go into baths of beans and, colour himself. But he'd decided to eat beans for I think it was 2 months.
What, a super size me type experiment?
I've got every meal I'm going to have beans. Don't matter what it is, I'm going to have beans. And he ended up being, because of the dye within the beans.
In the sauce, in the tomato sauce.
Yeah, made him actually orange. Now, what we were talking about before was about vitamin A, because that's where if you've got a cabbage or something that's green, it's generally got vitamin A. That's what it's...
Right, okay.
So if you have too much vitamin A, it can kill you.
Yeah, well, anything of too much
of it can kill you. So to affect your skin that much, they must have been eating it like constantly.
Yeah,
and don't forget, it doesn't throw out a lot of energy. So, like cattle and stuff like that, they eat constantly to keep the momentum moving.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? So you have to use that little bit of energy. I think
obviously, if they're on a steady diet of like beans and greens, then I think obviously they are going to be a bit kind of like. Yeah, but then affected health-wise.
Their food might be a little bit different as well. They might have actually vegetables that have all the ingredients that they actually need.
Yeah, potentially.
And it actually has a little bit in bit.
Well, I mean, this is depending on where they're from, because obviously if they're from England, or from a part of England, you'd expect that the same greens would be available. Everyone's eating the same stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
you would expect.
So obviously after a few days of a balanced meal and trying to, get them into a better routine of eating, and the health started to get better, and they started to lose the green colour.
Yeah,
right?
as time went on, it's slightly it would go after season.
So I mean, that makes me think. Obviously, the alien thing, when people go, "Oh, with the aliens, these green kids," like with them kind of shifting back into a normal hue, like a normal coloured skin tone, then you'd be like, they were just poorly or blatantly.
Well, there's an illness where it actually affects the pigment of your colour of your blood cells, basically. And they reckon that possibly could be a reason why, but to me...
Well, we'll go into a couple of the explanations of like what these could be in a minute. But so the girl and the boy, they were both basically... it was like a nobleman or something, was it? A knight?
Yeah, a knight. Knight William.
And he kind of adopted the kids.
Yes, he did,
and took them in because obviously nobody knew who they were in the town. And obviously going back to the dialect, nobody seemed to recognise what they were talking about. Nobody could understand them because it wasn't a dialect they'd ever heard before.
Yeah.
So there was, these arguments say that they were Flemish.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Now,
we had a good discussion about this before.
Well, because for one, I was like, where the fuck's Flemland? Or whatever it's called.
If you want to know, it was from like Calais and from there.
Belgium or something.
Belgium. It was basically there around about the 11th to 12th century.
But point being is the Flemish had been in the area and they would have been aware of the dialect.
A lot of them was in the area. A lot of the people from Flandland come over here, and we were actually overrun that much that King Henry II got rid of actually a majority of them from the country.
Well, so... these kids have been brought in by this noble knight, who seems like obviously a nice guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's
doing his
bit.
Duty as a...
Well, he didn't have to do anything, did he, really? And he's just took in these kids, so fucking well done there.
About it, it's an oddity as well, so...
Oh, of course, yeah. So having that close to hand might be beneficial to you in some way.
Later on, you can walk around and go like, I'm the man who looks after the girl and boy,
Oh, yeah.
I'm king round here without, and plus...
isn't he nice?
He'd get more, I think he'd get more respect from the villagers as well around.
Maybe,
around there.
yeah.
And plus it gives them more conversation, I suppose.
Obviously, these kids... You'd think that everything was hunky-dory now, everything was going to be great for these kids now.
Yeah, they seem to be doing the duties in that.
Unfortunately not, because they did start getting better. One of the girl, she was thriving basically, but the young boy, unfortunately, he passed away because they got not ordained, what is it? Blessed. Yeah, right. So they've been blessed, in the church.
Not long before he started getting ill.
And then he started getting ill and passed away, didn't he, the young boy? But the young girl, she basically grew up in the service of
of the night. He actually, she was a cleaner and looks after the house and all that. And basically, the other cleaners thought she was an oddity. They thought she was actually.
Well, I think they all thought that she was a bit, how would you put it?
A bit crazy.
Not even that. A bit kind of like forward, shall we say?
Yeah.
Do you know, like maybe a bit
too of a picnic.
A bit too kind of like.
She had her different ways of doing things.
Well,
I'd say.
You keep repeating that, but what I'm getting at is she was a bit promiscuous.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you know, she
might have been a bit crazy. Yeah, right. Yeah. But I think she couldn't have been that bad. Yeah, but.
Well, I mean, you don't know.
You don't know. I mean. But what the point being is, she was working as this servant, servant girl, and you know, she seemed to have a good life.
She seemed to be on the mend, and like.
So,
as far as the story tells.
So, well, the story's an interesting one, and it only actually appears in 2 accounts, right? Yeah. Which is the William of Newborough's Historial Realm Anglicum, and Ralph of Cogshall Chronicles Angulum, both written in. What is it? 1189 and then 1220.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So not
one was in Yorkshire as well. Don't forget.
Yeah, one was in Yorkshire.
Was in Yorkshire, and the second priest was actually 30 miles down the road.
Because you've just said it there. They were both priests.
Yes.
Right. Now you could look at this a couple of ways, because you could look at this story as in like, right, it was first account.
Yeah.
Was a priest who had a bit of a penchant for, like, you know, weird out there stories. A lot in that book. Yeah. There's a lot of ghost stories, a lot of kind of demons.
Yeah,
you know,
it's William that one.
Yeah, it's basically like the fucking what's that website called? Believe it or Ripley's. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it was like you know, an interesting account of weird shit that's gone on in England.
Yeah,
right.
I'd say it was more like you know, one of them TV shows where you go, what's happening?
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah, like a kind of like a chronicle of what's gone on in England this year.
Because he was an historian and an author.
Well, exactly, he was an author.
Yeah.
So there's some speculation to say that this was actually just a made-up story. Yeah, and the fact that a priest wrote it, and obviously, like, you know, it's a story of these wayward children who was brought in by a noble knight and baptized.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, and lived a happy life as a Christian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
something along those lines.
Yes, I can see that big time.
There's also like kind of similarities to the book Babes in the Wood, where 2 children are taken out into the woods and poisoned with arsenic.
Yeah,
like. And, you know, the green tinge, as people have speculated that was arsenic.
Yeah.
Because arsenic was used to dye
a lot
materials
of things,
green.
But arsenic is no good for oxygen. That's why we can't have it, because it takes oxygen away from the
so basically, but on a minimal dose, would that not just kind of like,
well,
you know...
if you it'd be like paint. If you put paint all over your body, you've got no
you can't breathe, can you?
Yeah, so you've got to think of it in that way.
Wasn't
and plus
it
the poison on top.
Goldfinger?
Yes.
The actress in that had problems because they painted her gold, and she's nearly suffocated to death.
Yeah, because you've got to leave at least I think something like 20% of the skin unattached, so that'd be like underneath as well as on top. But don't forget, it's still the material that you put on top of the paint as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So you add that on top, and like it's just like the paint. So you're not actually leaving any gaps for breathing.
Yeah. So it was basically only rediscovered this in the 19th century.
Yeah.
The green children seem to surface only basically
in the 2 books.
Yeah, right. And so there's no other accounts.
Actually, no.
So that makes
I believe
me
there's
think
one more account in, I think, the 16th century, where someone was talking in a book, brought this subject up again.
Yeah. But it was more. I mean, obviously, was that pre-19th century?
That was 16th century. It was.
I was because obviously in the 19th century onwards, it's like it's come up time and time again in folklore. But obviously before then, there was no real accounts of it. No. I think Britannia, the Britannica. So William is it Camden's Britannia? Britannia. In 1586. He talked about it. It was mentioned.
Yeah.
So, and then again, by the man in the
Man in the Moon.
Yeah, in the early 17th century.
Yeah, so it has been mentioned here and there, but I don't know if they may be talking about the same
but that's
story.
the thing, because obviously Babes in the Woods was pre the Green Children, right? So how do we know that this priest hadn't kind of read that and then thought, I'll just do a little adaptation of that for my book, and then someone else hasn't read that story and went, that's interesting, I'm going to elaborate on that.
It depends,
and it's just a folklore. It's just made up.
Yeah, but then you've got to question yourself: is it a folklore? Because there's been 2 accounts, maybe 3 accounts talking about the 2 accounts, but these accounts were roughly around that time age, where the Yorkshire man was hearing. Well, he wouldn't have heard a lot of more details than the priest who lived near. Now, the priest who lives near must have heard more details about it than anyone else who's written about it, obviously.
Yeah.
So I would more account on what he said. But the question comes is who's emblemished and who's taken out bits and who's added on bits. And
exactly. Well,
and
like
that's
I say,
where
it could all be fiction, or it could be it could all be true, but it could be a bit of both.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about into aliens kind of shit, then you got talking about one. We've talked about living under the caves, living under the ground and stuff like that.
Subterranean
like people.
Subterranean fucking.
And then you're talking shape-shifting, so you could live in one area for a certain amount of time, and your body will change to that environment. Like when she come out,
I was just about to say, do you want to know what she said?
Yeah, go for it.
So after she learnt to speak English, the girl explained that her and her brother had come from the land of St. Martin's, which was a kind of a subterranean world inhabited by green people.
Yeah,
right. She said everything was green around her. The people were green.
It was.
She said it was a kind of a twilight all the time. Yeah, and there was a great lake or river, and across that she could see a bright land. But where they were from, she said it was never bright. So on the day that she arrived and was discovered, her and her brother, she said that she was out tending cattle for her father.
That's right.
And they were walking about, and they hear these bells. So thinking that it was like the bells at the village. They've started kind of missioning off, but ended up getting turned around and lost. I don't know how they ended up in this tunnel. If they were out and about, grazing the cattle. Yeah,
because have you seen the size of these holes?
Yeah, because I'll go into this because, but we'll just what I kind of so they've ended up coming through this tunnel and ended up in a wolf pit. Yeah. Now, a bit of information about the area: Woolpit used to be called Wolf Pit.
That's right. Yeah.
Because in Suffolk there used to be wolves a lot in the woods. Yeah. So they dig these pits. To protect the cattle and the people, right? So any wolves rushing the town would just fall in the pit. Now, these kids were supposed to have been discovered coming out of one of these pits. Yeah. And she said that there was a tunnel entrance there, but when she went back to try and find it, it was gone.
Yeah, which is...
So...
But then again, that to me doesn't come out of the realms of something like that. Like, let's say there was underground people, and you've noticed now there's a gap and someone could walk out there and go and see what you don't want anyone else to see about.
Well, it must have been a bloody long tunnel, because like she's saying that beyond this vast lake,
we've always got little earthquakes, you could have had a little earthquake and opened it up, and a little earthquake closed it down.
Walk for miles under this lake.
Well, apparently they walked for a bit.
Yeah, so they've got through
wouldn't
this
you have
tunnel.
turned back round?
I would have.
Yeah.
I think we've definitely gone the wrong way.
Yeah, we've gone past the house somewhere along here.
So, you know, they've entered into this new realm where she was blinded. They were both overwhelmed by the light, by the brightness of the outside world. Yeah. Because as she describes it, it was green everywhere, but very dark and twilight, which makes me think of like living in a wood, living in a forest anyway, with canopies and
I'd like to see what her eyes would be like.
I would have thought bigger eyes. I would have thought that there'd be a bit something about what their eyes, because obviously the green skin. But if you've kind of lived in a subterranean environment or a dark environment, you know,
you're going to have
how long did it take
changes.
for her to adjust to that?
Because your DNA states that you can see certain things.
What,
you know what I mean?
What if you kind of adjust to a certain thing from birth?
Yeah, and the question is, could it work on changing your food habits, your work habits, your living, sleeping habits? Could change all that within within a certain time limit. I'd say within 5 years, you would have at least quite a bit of change there, I would imagine.
So, I mean, she was saying, I'm from
St. Mark.
I'm from, she was definitely converted, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, it does seem like the story of a a religious fable, or something, to kind of say, oh yeah, we found this demon child or whatever, and I don't know, but like I say, she's telling this story like in English now, and she's kind of like, it all sounds a bit far-fetched. It sounds a bit kind of like maybe the misrememberings of a child, or kind of this all, because I mean, it doesn't really add up, does it, in terms of what she said? Because, I mean,
no, but
was she just from a region that was a bit more fucking overcast?
But like what I was saying to you,
it's like if I got off a plane in Florida as a Mancunian, I'd be like, fucking hell, it's bright.
Well, like I said to you about the Flemish land, I mean, that could be portrayed as across a lake.
Oh, of course, of course.
But to me, because like we discussed before about the materials on the children, and also the language, which now, if you were, like we were talking before, if you went to Scotland and you seen 7 people from 7 different districts, you'd still know that they are Scottish.
Yeah, but but for the variety of the accent goes from from very well spoken to illegible and inaudible, and it's like that's. But the people who live local understand every word. Yeah, and this is the thing. It's
and it was a busy.
You live in a closed community, even in small. I'm sure that you at home, the listeners at home, you'll have friends that you have a little kind of language with, right? That you talk.
I know this.
I don't know, but you've got a kind of exactly Cockney rhyming slang, right? But it's a regional thing, and not even regional. Sometimes even smaller than that.
Yeah, but through
between
the dialect,
groups of friends and family. And then but if you've got a community that's cut off from everything else, and it's like a woodland community that everybody lives in this sort of village and no one's ever left.
So you're saying like an apartment in the middle of London.
Your language isn't going to be the same as what my language is, and I probably wouldn't understand a word you were saying.
No, but how could you miss that little area? Because it was a busy area. I'm sure there'd be
similarity. Oh, yeah, of course. And I totally agree, because it was a small area, but it's built up.
And they must have actually been able to communicate with other areas.
I'm not sure that they were, but like I say, what I think personally is it could be more like just
could it be in a cave somewhere? But they've
just
been
cave
worked
dwellers.
out how to survive.
Just cave dwellers.
Like,
people who've learnt to survive in the woods.
Yeah, but for big, they've got cattle in there. And do you know any caves today that you could?
Well, you'd actually find most cave paintings and cave illustrations do depict cattle. So totally 100%.
Yeah, but you wouldn't. Now, here's a problem. Right,
go on.
So you've got a lot of greenery, right?
Yeah. It's the people who are green is the thing.
Well, but they've got to have
the land of the Jolly Green Giant.
Become green. So they've got the material to eat that makes them green, which...
they could just be like mossy. They could have just been rolling around in moss.
But then you've got to question where they're getting their light from. Where they're getting their light source to actually make the energy sugars to actually build. And the cattle.
This is the thing, isn't it? Yeah. And this is probably why they were so malnourished. And like I said to you earlier, I mean, this young girl in a family, say she's been born into this family, and they've gone, we've got plenty of beans. Yeah, and she gets a good start in life to the point where she's the older child, right? And he's got the strength. But then little Timmy comes along, and she's got to halve her beans, right? And Timmy's getting half, right? But that's not enough for Timmy as a growing boy, so he gets malnourished and ends up dying. Yeah. Whereas she's already had that good start, so she's that healthier child.
She was the oldest out of the bunch.
Yeah, exactly, right? So she's the healthier child. Makes sense why little Timmy had died. I'm going to name him Timmy. Tiny Tim.
Little tiny Tim.
Tiny green Tim.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
poor
lad. Right, so that, to me, kind of makes sense. But it's the fact that she's got an account of it, right? And she might have been a bit dotty and stuff, but, the idea of that she's travelled from this land of St. Martin's. Now, near St. Martin's, Woolpit. Yeah, near Woolpit is Bury St. Edmunds.
Yes.
Right? And so there was
a confliction
there where she could be from Bury St. Edmunds, and there's obviously churches there.
But then that still doesn't...
With bells
materials and the actual language. And the colour of the skin. They would have... If you
was she wearing Kevlar? What was the material that she was wearing? Did no one test this?
Well, apparently, this material that they found was nothing they've ever seen before.
Yeah, it's always the nothing they've ever seen.
I'm looking at something it could have been from the Middle East,
maybe
silk or something like that, maybe somewhere from Egypt, some that kind of material that's been flying through. But then it still comes down to the green skin,
right? So,
and where are the parents? Where are the parents?
Well, the thing is, there's some speculation, right, that they could have been aliens, right?
Which I've got to say, I'm not on the big side of agreeing with that.
Picture this, right? You've got their alien mothership up in space, right? Yeah. They're on a 10-year mission. Sort of
Kirk
thing.
Only had 5-year mission.
Well, no, but these aliens are a bit more advanced than us, aren't they?
Yeah, so it should be like a 2-year mission.
They've already done all that.
Oh, they've done it all.
They're on the 10-year missions now. You know what I mean?
Enough.
They've been in space a long
They've
time.
been good, haven't they?
So you'd think that there would be kids on board, right?
Yeah.
What happens if one of those kids gets into the fucking beam me down, Scotty fucking Booth?
Beam me into that old
Maybe
Scotty.
They were accidentally beamed down.
Oh, there could have been a coup. Could have been a coup, and they've had to right. Parents have gone right. Get
off the ship.
You'll be safe down there. I'll come collect you afterwards.
Potentially. Now, the idea that they actually looked humanoid, but the only difference was the green skin. You were saying shape-shifting lizards.
Well, because I've got to think of other stuff that we've talked about in the past.
Of course, yeah. Now, we have talked about... that does kind of marry up with the lizards, because obviously... They talk about...
Now, if you get all these little joints together,
subterranean.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Green lizard-type people who can shapeshift.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's Los Angeles.
So, maybe she was sent in as a spy.
Well, this is the thing that... if it is a so-called other race of beings who've landed here...
Beans, because that's all it did.
Yeah, good idea, actually. If they are here, I mean, they've long gone into our DNA and into our society, which possibly through DNA we could trace, but there's a possibility as well that the DNA could have been scrambled after they've turned into what, like, you know, your forefathers or someone's forefathers out there, because she did get married, and from there on the story ends. But from there, I imagine that she had 1 or 2 kids. Then from there, they've had some kids. Then from there, they've had some kids, and the process has gone along. And there's at least, you know, a little percentage of people in England or around the world now. It could, because it could have been in different countries we haven't really checked in. You know, could have been in India culture, African culture. For all we know, that they've got their little story in roughly the same time. Well, I didn't really check into that. I mean, I might when I get time, I might have a little look into that, see if there's, because I have heard that there's been more of them green children stories in England. I think there's been about 3 or 4.
It's funny because the Green Man, is something that is known in sort of paganism,
that's religious.
And
kind of,
no, but it was before that. I think the pagans took that on. Yeah. But the Green Man is supposed to be like nature. It's I think it's like,
Mother Nature, and it's
you know, it's more than just kind of a pagan sort of thing. But you do see that iconography of this. People put these Green Men plaques up in the gardens as sort of, I don't know, a fertility sort of thing to.
We were talking giants the other week as well.
Influence the. Yeah, well, maybe the giants and these green men are linked.
Yeah, and we didn't really go into the colours of the giants because we never.
Well, we never. It's not even something that you'd kind of even think of. You know, to giant, it'd just be
if it was green.
If it was green, like the Jolly Green Giant.
Then you'd have.
Well, there you go. There's one. We were asking earlier about how they managed to find themselves into that cave, find their way into that cave. It was they followed the cattle. Yeah, because they heard a loud noise and ended up going off.
The bells on.
So, according to Ralph, who was the
second priest,
1220
his book.
That's right. The girl was employed for many years as a servant at Richard Carnell's household.
Yes,
where she was
Knight Sir Richard,
where she got a reputation for being very wanton.
Yeah. You sure it weren't the clapping she had, she was just going a bit through.
She was only a kid. Anyway, but then she ended up marrying some dude from a couple of villages over in King's Lynn, about 40 miles away.
Yeah, he had pretty heels.
What?
He had pretty heels.
Pretty heels.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the story.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it sort of ends there, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, because that's it. It does end there. It was like basically she changes her name
to the mist,
and you never really hear
and
anything
infects
of her.
everyone.
But
with the DNA,
the idea that there's so much speculation around it. There's no kind of real kind of answer. I mean,
no. Well, I don't know. There is. I think there's some. Disproves stuff. I'd say.
Well, you could totally disprove a lot of it.
Not immigrant. I don't think.
Well, I wouldn't say she was. Well, no. Again, but this is putting down right. Okay, so if she wasn't somebody who's kind of coming from overseas, and she wasn't an alien, right?
Yeah.
She wasn't a time traveler. Or she wasn't.
Oh, we never mentioned
that. Never even thought of that. But she wasn't, or a lizard. Or anything. Radiation, maybe something in the future turning everyone green.
Yeah, might be a green future and we're too green.
Well, this is it. Everyone's telling us to go green.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, but that's for the money now.
This could be it, you know. She might have been talking Cockney rhyming slang, and that's why they couldn't understand her.
She doesn't know Batman, does she?
Fuck knows.
Poison Ivy.
Oh, God, yeah. I think, there is a medical explanation. I think since modern researchers have looked into the case, they've basically said there is an illness that can cause you to turn green, and it's called the green disease.
Yeah.
Now, better diet and stuff can kind of help that out, I think. So it has kind of been proven that there is a deficiency that can do this.
Yeah.
So is it not just kind of normal to think that that's what it was?
It's still, to me,
like the bean guy who dyed himself orange.
Yeah, but he's still down to the language. Like, they've never heard this kind of language before. That's my main.
I think that's down to just a case of being a small community living so far in the woods.
But depends how they've interpreted it.
You've got to remember as well, there was a lot more woodland in the UK back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, majority of England was covered in woodland, so there'd be a lot of areas that might have been like,
but it was a busy...
undisturbed, not very many people went, and little communities sprung up where...
Yeah, but when, Lovers Lane and stuff like that, farmer's going to go, crop his bush or whatever, like, you're still going to have people around there. And don't forget, it was a busy time around that area. It wasn't, like, quiet.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, but depends how far they'd managed to walk. I mean, another option is, like, an alternate dimension, considering that she's... saying that she's from a land that's got no sunlight and it's twilight all the time and everyone's green. That could be an answer.
Do you think she was playing on the fact that she was green and that she was like an oddity?
How do you mean? Like
by putting this story together, saying,
personally, there is a strong possibility that this is an author who has wrote
a bit more than he should have.
Just wrote a story that didn't actually happen when the only accounts of it are written down are from authors and both priests, then I'd say there's a strong possibility that this didn't actually happen and it is just folklore, but
they're both historians as well.
Yeah,
this is another thing. They write books for historical facts.
So you could but again, like, this is just accounts. Yeah, right. So I mean, is it historical facts when he's writing about ghost stories and demons and whatnot?
Well, yeah. Well, we talk about it today.
Like it's like reading the Daily fucking Mirror or the Star or something, and it's like
Well, don't you think
UFOs?
Don't you think what's happening today was happening back then? I mean, UFOs were back in the day.
Of course, yeah.
Ghosts,
that's it. It's like if two green kids turned up in the woods nowadays, it'd be fucking front page on every website going. Like,
but the problem they had back then is they couldn't spread the news.
Maybe
in
not.
A flash.
Maybe they'd be hospitalised and treated for green disease and sorted out and wouldn't even make the papers.
Out it was only fucking gout.
Yeah, something. It wouldn't even make the paper. Potentially not even make the papers. Yeah, right. Like if it was like two green kids found malnourished.
I don't know. Do you reckon now if we found two green kids, it wouldn't be publicised?
Probably not.
I doubt that.
I mean, maybe if they managed to take a photo of them when they found them, then they managed to take the picture of them. Then it would be. Yeah, it'd make it into our news.
What to do with like Wolf Boy and stuff like that?
Well, but they were all in specialist sort of like oddity magazines. Oh,
and you don't think being green and speaking a different language in a different material? Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, any other ideas? What you think this could be down to?
A couple of ideas were like from what we've talked about. I can't see unless. What about the hole in the middle of the earth?
What from the hollow earth?
Yeah, I mean that goes away from lizards sometimes. Some of it, aliens as being lizards and stuff like that.
Do you know? So, I mean,
the possibility.
The guys who wrote the books, who wrote the accounts. So Ralph and Cogshall, or nor William or Newborough, ever offered an explanation for the strange happenings there. So, but this is the thing, because if the original guy who wrote that story never had an explanation for it, then nobody else is going to either, because, you can relay that folklore or that story. It's like a campfire story, isn't it? Because you're always ending with, was he in the house the whole time? Or, something where you leave him on a cliffhanger, or you don't know exactly... it's a mystery.
Yeah, but let me ask you something then. if someone said it, a story in the truth, and someone said it in false, it was a bunch of lies, and did it in the same kind of way, which one could you tell was lying?
I don't know.
Well, exactly. So you don't know which one it could be because the possibility is still massively open.
I'm not trying. Well, the possibility that this is a true story, but like
it reminds me like kind of Chinese whispers kind of thing.
Oh, of course, it's always going to get elaborated.
True and bits aren't.
Everything gets elaborated.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is, these guys. Yeah, there might have been historians, but they were also religious people. They were
totally.
So
legend takes over.
Listen, historians or not, they're gonna have a sway for one side or another.
Oh yeah, totally.
Right?
Totally.
Didn't even have to put in the fact that they got baptized. Yeah, right. But they did. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, all this seems to me is it does seem like a made up fable potentially, and I think if it is true, then there would be an explanation for it, maybe in terms of diet and localized sort of village. Maybe that'd be what I'd see it as. But go on.
I think it's starting the communication. The communication, like everyone around that time would have known about it.
Yeah,
everyone
of course.
Around that time
no, what do you mean? But like, how? What do you mean?
But the way of communication now to the way of communication then is a lot different.
Yeah,
you know
when you've
I mean?
only got the bloody what is it? The Book of Anglican to fucking look over, like, and it's like, well.
But there may have been posters and stuff already, books and stuff out there. But you're talking like Great London fires. So there's a shitload of history gone up. You've got other cathedrals that have gone up. You've got wars that happen and, like, burning down shit, burning down houses, which you've got records. Because the records then to records now is different. When we go and dig, we're thinking of what's happened there. We haven't got the actual facts. We're just believing this is the way I think that it may be going. And so you've just got to try and work around that to see if you can work that way. And if it doesn't go in that direction, step back and go in a different direction. You know what I mean? So you can do that on a single item for fucking thousands of years. You know what I mean? So and unless it's written down, and then you've got the consideration: is it a lie or is it true? And where's the Chinese?
Is it. I mean,
where's all the bits?
Well, this is it. I mean, but if you wanted to go into kind of like, is it a part of something a bit bigger, like the Green Man?
Yeah.
So the Green Man, and very occasionally the Green Woman, it's a legendary being that symbolises rebirth and a cycle of new growth that occurs every spring. The Green Man is most commonly described in sculpture, or depicted in sculpture, with the face with kind of leaves coming out of the face and stuff like that.
Yeah, like a crown.
So it's quite interesting. The history of it, I mean, it's
pagan, isn't it? You've got like loads of like. I mean, we don't really consider the pagan history.
I think Mike Harding, he's got a website and a book called The Green Man, or The Little Book of Green Man, which gives examples of Green Man figures in Lebanon and Iraq, dated to the 2nd century. So,
do you
know what I mean? It's not only just something that's pagan in English.
Yeah.
It's something that you can find depictions on temples, churches in Jerusalem, and also all over the place. So I mean, this earthly figure of like a Mother Nature or a Father Nature or whatever you want to call it, like the Green Man or Green Woman. Is it far-fetched for them to have green kids?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, daddy and mummy. Yeah,
Captain Planet was a bit green as well, weren't he? Was he a bit of a bluey, greeny? Yeah, he was green. Yeah. Maybe he was one.
He might have been. Might have been the grandfather.
Like eco-warriors, tree huggers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but like, the history of the Green Man and the Green Woman, I mean, that must go back quite a long.
Oh yeah, like I say, I mean, like it's the
it must have been
400 AD.
It must have been there must have been talk about it back then about how to make this person prominent.
So in early examples of the Green Man are basically in Saint where is it? Sorry, from Saint Arbor.
Saint Arbor.
Yeah, and it's from 400 AD. Oh. And that's as early as the earliest one they've found. But it did have a revival in the 19th century, becoming pretty popular in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
And during the Gothic revival.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of arts and crafty type people started making them because they are cool.
Yeah,
I want one for my garden.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Help the garden grow.
Yeah.
So,
why not?
So, there you go. That's the Green Children, or the Green Children of Woolpit.
Woolpit, yeah.
So, if you've got any interesting sort of explanations, was it aliens?
Was it psychos? Was it like...
Fuck knows. Yeah, it could be. Do you know these people who, like, they lock people in basements for fucking ages and,
Yeah.
Well, they don't know any better. They're brought up like that. So it's like, this is what I'm saying.
If they're doing it now, they could have been doing it back then.
Maybe these kids did fucking have an hour escape. Maybe the parents missed them, man.
One of them didn't they, really?
Well, one of them didn't.
Yeah.
No. Well,
the other one hopefully had a great life. And
if you've got anything to add, you know what to do. Send us a message, email, or tweet. And, we'll take it on board, man. I think it's really cool. Love all the folklore. Trying to think if I've missed anything.
I don't think so. I don't think he's from.
Yeah, I think we've covered quite a lot of it here. Like I say, right. Well, in that case, we'll go straight into the news. It's the news. Oh yeah. Green men. They're not in the news.
No.
Well, we've been looking for some news. We've been looking all over the World Wide Web to try and find you the best entertaining and informative news. And from Earth, space, and beyond. And I think we found a bit.
Yeah, just a bit.
Some fucked up shit going on in our world at the moment. And we're going to try and keep it a little bit cheery.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I hate that. Do you know when you go on a website and it puts those bloody licensing agreement stuff like, oh, do you want to look at my website?
Yeah,
press
we
OK.
want to nick your data and sell it on.
Well, yeah, could you cookies?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, some
Oreos. Cookies. Get rid of the fuckers.
Cookies. Well... Got some stories. Did you hear about... We were talking about Carol Baskin last week and her new coin.
Oh, yeah.
Cat coin.
You bought some?
Nah, have a fuck. I've cat coin to rival Elon Musk's doggy coin.
Oh, doggy.
This is crazy, right? There's a guy who's hit the papers today. Is he called Garuba? Who went looking for something a bit different. Ended up making a fortune overnight. The doggy coin was meant as a bit of a joke, wasn't it? It was a practical joke. But when Galuba decided to invest his life savings in doggy coin,
oh man,
I think his friends were a bit fucking concerned.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So he invested. How much did he invest? $250,000. Yeah, in doggy coin. And like I say, it was all supposed to be a bit of a joke. Bitcoin as a bit of a prank to, kind of spoof.
Yeah.
Normal crypto.
Yeah.
Now, today, he's valued at roughly $2 million.
Oh, it paid off nicely.
Paid off in less than a year.
Taking that down to the bank.
That was pretty good. I mean, it's one of them, innit? Jammy sod.
Yeah. Yeah, lucky sod.
You can't do that.
Well, some of these things work that kind of way.
I couldn't risk it, to put my life savings into something like that.
Not
just to be
savings.
Like, wow.
Couple of G, maybe. I'm looking at doing something like that.
Have you got a couple of G?
I wish I had
lend your old Joyberg a couple of bucks.
I wish I had I want to make them millions. With pounds.
Well, here's an idea. This is an idea that I think it's actually a pretty good idea, but then obviously the authorities didn't think so.
Oh.
Chernobyl alcohol.
Oh yes, get your
because I watched a documentary where there was a woman who's drinking like she lived near Chernobyl and she was drinking vodka and she was like, I've been drinking this vodka all my life.
Nothing wrong with me.
Yeah, but I reckon if any one of us drank, she was green. She was glowing. She wasn't that type of green. She was like more plutonium green.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
If one of us drank it, we'd probably die of radiation poisoning. But Chernobyl alcohol it's been made. It went on sale, but
the glass.
It's been seized by authorities.
No.
So the first bottles of a spirit made by using apples grown near Chernobyl. So it's like it's a cider.
Yeah,
it's an
cider.
Apple spirit. Yeah. So it's nuclear. Yeah, it's
deadly.
right near the nuclear power plant. They've been seized by Ukrainian authorities.
I'm not surprised.
So they're not even fucking shy about the call. The Chernobyl Spirit Company.
Why not?
Said 1,500 bottles of the alcoholic drink were confiscated on the 19th of March and taken back to the office for consumption, most probably.
Yeah, they're having a glass or two.
Cool. Well, it's one of them, innit? It's like I reckon if you got the fucking gamma meter on it, you'd probably get some sort of reading.
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of reading. Definitely.
See, there was vodka made in the exclusion zone.
That's a hell of a dangerous.
So, I mean, it's a bit of a kind of... I mean, I reckon there's a lot of apple trees growing in the area. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Would you taste it?
I'd have maybe a sip just to taste it.
Even if it was positive with...
with a bit of radiation?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
fucking hell.
Turn into Superman?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hey. Well, we've got a story a bit later on that might be a similar thing.
Oh.
If you drink, if this is it, you get your Chernobyl alcohol.
You do.
And then you do something else we'll talk about later. Have you got anything else you want to talk about? Have you got something to talk about?
Have I got something to talk about?
He's always got stuff to
talk about. Oh, please. Now, have you seen this? I don't think you've seen it, have this new thing that they're going to try and bring in?
This new thing? No? Go on, enlighten me.
The Parents' Pledge before marriages.
What?
Yes, they're looking at...
The what?
Parents' Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
It's basically because 100,000 split-ups a year, which affects 250,000 kids.
So what is this? It's like, I pledge allegiance that even if I hate my missus, I'll stick by her for the sake of the kids.
No. This is for when they do split up, what they will do. Like, 'cause
2 Christmases.
Fathers for Justice had started things off to help, but hasn't continued. It's not pushed the courts, and the courts...
Typical father. I'm not being a dick, but typical father.
Well, it comes down to something like
round.
a father turning round and giving, 83 warnings to the mother to come to court, and she doesn't turn up. He's getting police coming round and getting told that he's been abusing the kid and stuff like that.
What?
Yeah.
Don't agree with that.
Well, yeah. Well, these are the kinds of things that are happening.
I think it's all based on like.
So it's to try and stop.
The thing is, I mean, there's a lot of kind of like one-sidedness because they do kind of tend to favour the mother.
Yeah, and bitterness as well. There's a lot of bitterness.
But I think it does all come down to individual circumstance. And, there is a lot of times when the father is deemed the better option, in raising and looking after the kid.
I'd say they're more likely to turn around to the mother.
Well, of course, yeah, but again, it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
It totally depends on the situation, and neither of us are in that situation.
Yeah.
So
thankfully.
I can't really feel I can comment on it, to be fair.
Well, I could put my view across, but if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Totally, but I believe it's like, obviously, there is a heavy, kind of lean towards the mother.
Yeah, they're just trying,
But like I say, I think in an ideal world, I'd like to think that each case is on its own merit, and if the female is deemed unfit to look after the child, then the father would have to.
Well, I totally agree, but like, there's plenty. Like I said, like 83 fucking warrants to come to a court or go to a court, and she knows every single fucking one of them. Now, you would have thought, like you was explaining to me before, you would have thought at least 3-4 times, and then bang, they would turn around and do something to make her come to that court.
Yeah, of course.
And it doesn't seem to happen. It seems to be, let Liv go. Let them spend some more money. Let the father spend more money to go. To go
is
to court
this something in the news? What so far?
Well, this is a new thing. It's called a parent.
So
pledge.
what's the pledge?
The pledge is basically for when the parents split up, who've got kids or will have kids, or if they're going to have kids, or that, what they plan on doing on the separation. Basically, so the
preemptive strike.
Yeah, basically, it's preempted beforehand. So they can both.
That's just going to bring on, because they're going to get into arguments about that straight away. It's like,
well, they're in the agreeing matter at that time because they're just about to get married. So they're in that time of, I'd love to be with you. I'd love to do this. I'd love to.
So what you say? So basically, what you're talking about is basically, whilst they're in the lovey-dovey stage, and civil,
yes,
right, is get them to put down almost like a prenup, right. Basically. That says if we, in the uneventful or the eventful situation we split up, that we have this down in writing beforehand. And you really think
they're going to
they're going to stick by it?
Well, if it's by contract, then because I don't know what the punishment would be. But I don't know what the punishment would be. But it'd be a written contract which will hold up in law and hold up more strongly in court. Is to try and stop them being more in family courts and having more arguments.
Yeah, but I can
see
another
system.
Well, maybe it'll work.
Sort it out.
Prenups work, don't they? In some ways.
Well, Fathers for Justice did a little bit. You know what I mean? They did what they can, but then it was halted and it hasn't been talked about for a number of years. And it's one of them subjects that parents need the answers and need to be.
Well, like civil. I say, I think obviously. Well, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, it's a tricky one because obviously I say it all should be put on its own merit.
Yeah,
so
totally.
But then there's always going to be a party in that's going to be not very happy about it.
Well, that's true. But that's life. Life's a bitch. Then you marry one, mate. You know what I mean?
Shit.
Luckily, we haven't yet.
Okay. Well, the Utah police.
I do.
The progressive Utah. I'm not from Utah. They banned shooting people, but not only just shooting people who were a bit down and out, a bit suicidal. Yeah.
Oh right. So they could go around last week and just pop you.
Well, no, yeah. So basically, right, the law went into effect on Wednesday that basically says that they're not allowed to use deadly force against a person who is suicidal or isn't threatening anyone else but themselves. Yeah. Why did have to pull a gun on that person anyway?
Exactly, that's natural. That's how they should be doing it anyway.
I know, fucking kid gloves with that guy. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You'd be like, "Can you come down off that bridge, sir?"
Yeah. Instead of, just stop.
Pull your gun on him. Right. So that made no sense to me. But they've passed this law that I can actually, if he's only causing a danger to himself, then you could. Well, that's the point, isn't it? Yeah, because unless he's tackling a police officer because he wants to top himself, then there shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, but you don't need to always use lethal force. They have a taser at the side of them.
They shouldn't even a taser's lethal force.
Yeah,
well, so as far as I'm concerned,
spray. Right now he's blinded. Get his arms behind his back. Oh, he's too strong.
That's force.
Right, tase the fuck up.
That's force.
Right, bang.
Right, if
it needs to be
no, right, no,
it needs to be done.
It's doing things the right way, right? So, like in a hostage negotiation, in a hostage situation, you don't send in the fucking SWAT team straight away, do you? You get the negotiator out, right? Who tries to talk the guy out of the situation, right? And is the calm
the guy's still
voice of reason,
not
right? But that's the point because. We're talking about people who aren't a danger to anyone else,
except for themselves.
Apart from themselves.
Yeah, but they can still rant and rave until they actually do something to themselves.
That's fine. But what I'm getting at is most often these people, they're pressured into a position where they do something like lash out at another person. Totally. And then the law's changed because you're not in that bracket anymore. You're in the assault. You're in the he's a danger to other people section. And you're authorised now to use legal force. Yeah, right. Which is, even though that this ban's been put in place, there is still a problem there because you know, it's how it escalates, and if it's handled the right way initially, then someone can talk that guy down or that woman down, whoever, right? They can get talked down. But if they go in and it's a standoff situation straight away, then there's always the danger of it going in that direction where there is going to be civilians or, you know, police getting injured, and then that line's crossed and the law doesn't apply anymore. Do you know what I mean? So
I think they want to do what they did in New Jersey.
What's that?
In a county in New Jersey, they come in and they sacked every single officer, and the reason why was because it was so dirty. There was so much corruption.
The thing is,
brought in new officers and officers that
it's not just police in America now, because I watched a video the other day, and there's basically police who. There's not enough police, but then like these independent police, right, who work on overtime for overtime. They're not technically, they're off duty police, right, and they operate in basically in townships and you know villages, and they operate as a local police force that aren't sworn in. Right. In fact, one of the guys who was in one of these platoons or whatever you want to call them, these units, was arrested for impersonating a police officer because he was going around with police on his vest, right? A fucking police tactical belt with a taser and a gun.
In England?
Yeah, no, this is in America, right? And the real police pull him over and they were like, where are you from? Like, and he's like, it all come out that he's ended up being working for this unit in a township, right? But he's got a fake badge, right? And it turns out, but it turns out he was a police officer and he was sacked, right? Or told to leave before he was sacked. Ended up getting recruited by this firm of police officers and off-duty police officers, and he's gone out up to the eyeballs in fucking tactical gear and all the rest of it to do police fucking traffic duty. Right? And when he was pulled over by the real police, and he's lofting this badge about and all the rest of it, when they eventually arrested him, mate, they opened his car. He's got a police car as well, right, with blues and twos. And that's illegal. Because obviously you're not allowed blue lights. In America that's illegal. So he's going around, got a police car, opened his boot, and he's got a loaded fucking assault rifle. He was just making it worse for himself. But this is the point. It's like, it's not even just the police anymore. It's like, you know, fucking random people who are dressed like police, generally not.
Not only that, he's got other issues, because if he arrests someone and it turns out that they've arrested him wrong, he can be heavily sued by them.
How do you mean? Like the guy who was pretending?
Well, no, because he wasn't a real officer as well.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And he turns around and he arrests you.
Well, he can't
and takes you down. Well, citizen's arrest. And takes you down at the station, and it turns out whatever proof or whatever bullshit he's come up with is false. You can heavily sue him for that now.
Of course you can.
And so he's fucked.
Well, mate, they arrested him. Well,
his
job's gone anyway, because he arrested him for impersonating a police officer. They sacked the guy. They got onto his sergeant, who was like, he's sacked.
And you know what? This is one of them stories that I wish British police officers will listen to, because when people turn round and go,
PCSOs.
No, normal police, when they pull you over and they go like, why won't you open your window? And you're going, well, I don't know, you're an officer.
I know.
And they go, well, you could show me your fucking warrant badge.
You could be impersonating one.
Yeah, exactly. And they go, who would impersonate
loads of people?
Exactly. It's so fucking easy, you know what I mean?
So, have we got any more news stories? I've got quite a lot, and I've got quite a lot of NASA news tonight.
Taiwan electric got closed off.
Did there?
Yeah.
Was this another one of these cyber criminal terror attacks, like the pipeline?
We don't know.
Because the thing was about that pipeline, they were all like panic buying on Thursday, right? Panic buying petrol. Now, if you went out and bought petrol, I mean, it's good to be prepared. I totally understand why you did it.
Oh, yeah.
But they were like that on the news. Pipeline will be back up and running by the end of the week. Like, Friday, and Friday, Saturday. And
yeah, but you can never trust them, you know what I mean?
I understand that, but I mean, panic buying anything, I don't like that panic buying mentality when it comes to anything, toilet roll, petrol.
Well, then that day the emergency comes, you went panic buying, went outside
and I couldn't wipe my bum.
Yeah. You got your kit that you needed. Everyone else is like, I'm using rocks here. What the fuck?
The thing is, but that's when bulk buying and fucking like a bit of kind of panic sets in.
What do you want to do?
You see people rushing to the pumps, and everybody thinks that they're missing something. So a lot of the time, if you were to ask them, why are you queuing? And they were just because everyone else is. I don't want to go without.
Hey, that's business, mate.
Do you know what I mean? Now, you could say that like it was a fucking tactical thing because you were talking earlier about how the pipeline potentially was. They asked Obama to close it down.
Yeah, and he said no.
And he said no. But you believe? I mean, obviously, I don't know.
Yeah,
if
this
it's
is
just
what I.
But you've heard that Biden said, go for it.
Yeah, basically, we closed it down for.
Now, when you said that, I was like, I know. For business purposes, right? Because. If you think about it, the petrodollar went down like minus $36 or something daft, for a point.
It's worth shit.
For one day, went down like ridiculous amounts of points. Like,
and it's GDP,
so there's a lot of people, oil companies, who own shit, own a lot of land, own a lot of interest.
Oil's cheap at the moment.
Who will be pressuring and lobbying for maybe a rise in demand. Get people wanting the petrol again. People need petrol. And don't forget, an upsurge in sales.
They do petrol, but their petrol shit. They use Venezuela's
crude oil in it.
No, they've got shit oil, so they have to add
crude oil.
They have to add the Venezuelan oil and oil like that.
Refine it and stuff.
Basically to sort it out. But
now, who knows? Business. There's a conspiracy there, definitely. I mean, was it a cyber attack or was it either way? I mean, because that cyber attack they was saying that it was some sort of cyber criminal operating out of Russia.
Yeah, and I was hearing Robin Hood's group as well.
Yeah, but again, it was like if I was a Russian government and I was like in the Kremlin there, I'd be like, make it so, but don't link it back to me.
Yeah.
So I would argue that it was some independent guy on his own who just was doing it like war game style and just thought he'd have a crack.
Yeah, there's plenty of them out there. But some smart kids out there.
If there was that, but again, if like I was the Kremlin, I'd be interested in hiring that smart kid.
Room 39, mate.
To do those things for me.
Room 39.
So do you know what? Found this story. I found it on the Playboy website.
Oh yeah, you've been looking
I don't go on the Playboy website, but I was looking for good stories, and this came up, and I thought, actually, do you know what? I've never been on the Playboy website before. It's quite nice.
Is it?
It's got a lot of bums on it.
It's got funky pictures.
So this is a story about basically, forget deep fakes. A sex toy company in Asia has basically borrowed the likeness of an Instagram influencer.
Oh,
not asked the permission.
Yeah,
and they've created the best-selling doll.
Oh, I bet she is so delighted.
I doubt it. Do you know? I think that's basically one step further than identity theft, isn't it? I mean, stealing your whole likeness, and not only. I mean, okay, so you're a model or you're an influencer or something like that, and all of a sudden, someone stole your image and put it on a poster, without your say, and you're on a billboard advertising, I don't know, some product that you would never advertise.
Put it on a doll. I'm sure it'll sell well.
You don't be facetious. Be fucking real here, right? If I saw you on a poster advertising fucking hemorrhoid cream or something ridiculous, something that I knew that you would never put your name to, you'd be pissed. You'd sue them and you'd be like, you're taking the piss, you've used my likeness without my permission, it's out of order, right? But not only that, they've made it into a sex doll.
Yeah.
Right? So these fucking, literally, fucking going on. Yeah, right? Without her consent. Right?
Well, yeah.
I kind of feel a bit violated. Yeah.
Well, can you, though?
Well, it's her likeness. Surely in the back of her head, she's thinking, oh, I don't even know how many dudes are plowing me right now. No. You know?
But I've got to say, on the defence of...
Go on, you've always got the defence of the wrong side.
It's not like we haven't been told this
You're
before.
immoral, you are.
No, it's not like that. We haven't been told that pictures from like Facebook, all that are being put in the Middle East and being sold in pictures and put on products and being sold everywhere else.
Because the copyright laws don't exist in these countries. Yeah. Turkey, fucking China, Russia.
So it doesn't surprise me. And
now they're all on the web as well, more so, because it's like, you know, even India, India wasn't on the web, and now they're like one of the biggest consumers of YouTube. Yeah, there's a reason why PewDiePie isn't number one anymore, is because an Indian music video thingy just shot past him because they've got more viewers.
Yeah,
it's just a denser population of people wanting to watch music videos.
The only way you're going to stop it is by going to your government and getting them to stop doing dealings with the country until it stops.
I don't know, though. This is a bit personal, though, isn't it? In terms of, like, your likeness.
Now everything you do is getting traced.
If you're putting it online, yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can't come running afterwards and saying, oh... someone's used this picture. It's open. You've put it into the open market. Anyone can take it and do whatever they want with it. This is the thing that people are not understanding, if you know what I mean. So they can't turn around and say, if you're going to use it, you've got to expect the...
So you're basically saying...
I think it's wrong.
Well, no, but you're basically saying, well, if you're going to put it out there, then it's like, you don't... but at the end of the day... Yeah, it is wrong, but it's like it's still almost like saying, well, like, if it's there, you may as well.
Well, no, because there's always a dirty, rotten cheat out there who's going to go out and abuse it. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like, everything you do, that there's someone going to violate.
Is it Yarel Cohen? Is the influencer's name? South African, Canadian.
See?
Businesswoman, apparently.
The only way to deal with this is by going to Microsoft and going to your governments and
going to Microsoft.
This.
I mean, Microsoft,
because they're the ones
obviously you invented you putting computers out there. It's your fault.
Yeah, well, they're putting out the services.
Well, no, Facebook. Yeah, I'd say Facebook's probably the number one. Because,
but they're allowing people to come in, take your picture and put it on something else.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They shouldn't be. They should be terms in your Facebook that if you're using Facebook, that they're not allowed to sell your images. Yeah. It's like, I'm a photographer, right? Yeah, so I occasionally share images with people on social media, right? Yeah. I kind of stopped doing it because there was a lot of fear of that. Yeah.
Exactly.
There was a website called Flickr. Yeah, that I used a lot. And they changed the terms and conditions to say, people could basically, if you put it on there, they owned it, right? Well, and it's like Facebook has the same sort of policy, and it's like, or did. So, if they own it and you've uploaded it willingly and you read the terms and conditions that say, Facebook own this photo as of uploading, and is okay to use any pictures it deems fit for any marketing purposes.
Middle of this June, Microsoft are putting on anything you've got Microsoft. They're adding now their new terms and conditions. Has anyone read it? Has anyone gone?
No, but this is the thing, you'll get a knock at the door one day with, we're here for your firstborn. And they'll be like, what are you on about? And be like, well, you didn't read the terms and conditions, but you ticked the box.
Yeah, until we get rid of all them terms and conditions and get them to come up front and say what you mean without no legal jargon, then it'd be a better place.
The world needs to be a better place. Trust me.
Desperately needs to be a better place at the minute.
Oh God, what happened there?
Oh, where? God.
Did you hear about this woman in Italy?
No.
We were talking earlier about Chernobyl wine, and what the effects of that might be in a superhero capacity. Well, meanwhile, in Rome, a 23-year-old Italian woman was mistakenly given 6 doses of the Pfizer vaccine in one sitting. She was rushed to hospital, but then later released on Monday, having suffered no apparent symptoms or adverse reactions.
How?
Local health authorities said.
How can you have 6
injections
in one?
Because it's probably mainly water. That's probably what it is.
What, are you going to go from one person to another person to another person to another person?
Vurbl does. It's just water. Yeah, it was the Pfizer one, which apparently is the better one. I'm not sure if that's true, but
it's milk.
It's milk of magnesia. But she was apparently kept under observation for about 24 hours.
Is that it?
Is that it? Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I mean, how long does it take for... In fact, that takes 7 days to kind of... If you get corona, it takes 7 days to... Well, true that, actually, because that's a good point, because your body does...
Your liver's going to go...
Nah, if you take something, or like, it's like when you drink, isn't it? Your liver tries to expel it.
Depends how long it's going to take to break it down. So I suppose 24 hours, and watch it for the next week, and I suppose that's all you can really do. See if she grows an extra ear or an extra toe.
I think the idea that she's totally immune now.
To every single virus in the world.
She's like...
Got a superhero now.
Who's she sending in now? We're sending her in. To play
first person we send
first responder there. It's like, she's the most immune.
Yeah, she is.
Get her out.
Can't get that Zimmer frame, love.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Pfizer's spokesperson.
You make a druggie feel jealous.
So, talking about sticking on the vaccine, which is a lot of people are getting it. I'm going for mine in a couple of weeks. I keep
getting asked. I actually was asked by.
I'm always getting asked, but
London College as well.
I'm going to go for mine. I'm decided. Yeah. So, Vlad the Vaccinator. Dracula's castle.
Hell.
Not even joking. Dracula's castle is being used as a COVID vaccination centre.
That's someone's pulling some willies there.
Seriously, I think basically visitors at Dracula's castle are more likely to be leave with puncture marks in their arms rather than the necks. So apparently, because medics are setting up a COVID-19 vaccination centre at the Transylvanian attraction.
Like
what?
Like that's just funny, man.
So they're going to be offering free Pfizer jabs, Dracula style. They'll be like, I'm here to drink your blood. Just make sure you don't get that dimwit who gave you 5. He'll be like, 1,
and you do realise you've got to go at night. You can't go in the day.
I know, yeah. It's not. They're just trying to eat you. That's what it is. It's a ploy. So yeah, if you want to go down to obviously the tourist attraction and get your vaccine there, but on other COVID-19
big
news,
butts,
COVID-19 apparently lingers in the penis and could cause impotence.
Oh, I better chop it off.
Don't be doing that.
No, that's just some...
I just think that's stupid. Don't be daft.
Yeah, that's...
You've got to pay a COVID linger in there.
Yeah.
Where's it lingering, Doc?
You know what? I hope Trump ain't listening to this.
I hope he isn't. You're
They'd be like, now chop your dick off.
You got any more news you want to talk about?
Yeah, I have actually.
I shouldn't have to ask, really. You should be on the ball.
Yeah, I should, but I'm not playing cricket.
You should pick up my cues, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but, Right, well, Bill's marriage is...
Whose marriage?
Bill Gates.
Oh, yeah, he's getting divorced, isn't he? Yeah.
And his wives have deciding to give a bit of information about him and Epstein.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, the amount of meetings that he had.
Seriously?
So she's it's coming out that she's going to be saying things about.
Now, did she sign a relationship agreement before she married him?
I would have thought, being a rich cunt like he is, I would have thought that she would have.
Well, no, I'm thinking about if he's done this pledge. Do you know what I mean?
To the devil.
No, you've brought the story up, and we're calling a story that you brought up earlier in the show.
Yeah,
about the pledge with divorces.
Oh yes.
Fucking hell.
Oh yeah. Right? He mustn't have signed one of them.
If he's not signed it and she's not signed it, she's free to say whatever she wants, really, isn't she?
Yeah, that's true.
He could have said, listen, nothing about Epstein if we ever get a divorce.
Yeah.
Because that's the danger, isn't it, if you're into dodgy shit and you've got a partner.
I think it's a good move on there.
As soon as you get divorced, it's like, dickhead.
I'd tell you what,
going down.
Papers are going to be around her. Is
that true? What? So she's definitely come out and said that?
It's coming out that she's willing to talk to the media about...
well, we'll see what happens there then, won't we?
The meetings that went on with Bill Gates.
Willikers.
Yeah, so might be some dodgy business coming out. But you know what? I would have thought it'd been nipped in the bud beforehand. She'd probably get paid off. Hey, I'll give you an extra billion. Sorry.
Well, maybe that's why she's doing it. Who knows? I mean, maybe that's why she's saying, I'll get, this will get a couple more million out of him. This will shit his pants up. Because all you got to do is mention the name Epstein now, and everyone knows what you're talking about.
Yeah. Or someone may not like what she's about to say, and I'll come and sort you out, girl. There'd be a handkerchief hanging on the fucking, on the doorknob. The CIA fucking warning.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But, yeah, hopefully she's going to come out with some good stuff. But, I think some of it's going to be... I think a lot of it's going to be, nothing's going to be coming out major, to be honest. If it does come out, brilliant. But if it doesn't, then, it's nothing new, to be honest.
Well, that's not fact then, is it? It's just all kind of speculation and basically...
Because there's more to it. They're going to ask more about what she...
I know, but by you saying that, that's saying that she's already come out to the media. Like I said, you say the name Epstein, and that's you know what we're talking about, right? Yeah. So if she's even said that she's willing to come out and speak to the media, then that's already saying it. Yeah, that's already saying that there's an issue there, right? Yeah. So, did she say it, or...
According to the papers...
Which papers?
Saying The Guardian, I believe.
Right, okay, well, fucking hell, we'll see what happens there, then, because this is the thing, it's like, is it... Because it's like we can see stories, and again, it's like you can misinterpret a headline, right, but... the end of the day, unless it's solid fact that she said it,
until she says it, it's not.
Well, no one. That's what I'm saying. If she's already said that she's willing to talk to the papers, that says it all to me. I think.
Oh yeah, someone might already have it on tape by now because it's been a while. They've been getting divorced, so
Who knows, man? Fucking hell, dodgy is.
Well, let's see what comes out.
So, anything else you want to talk about, Taylor?
I do. I want to talk NASA news.
I have got stunning amounts of NASA news tonight.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, loads been going on. Start off with Elon.
Oh, the Musk.
Oh yeah, the Musk. he's a man of Musk.
He is.
What's it? Well, he's sending up more satellites. SpaceX launching 52 Starlink satellites and 2 small payloads tonight.
See.
So that would have been already happened. Now it's done.
Yeah. Well,
they're up. They've been having issues, haven't they? Because they keep exploding rockets and stuff.
Yeah, talking of exploding rockets, tonight, the same night in New Zealand, there's a rocket from Rocket Labs going up with electric boosters, and that actually failed to hit orbit.
Are they rushing ahead of themselves? Because, you've got to try these things, but it's a bloody expensive science project, isn't it, when everything's blowing up?
Yeah, they've lost 2 satellites now. Stage 2, they lost it all.
Well, did you see, obviously they're sending stuff up. China have just had a big incident there as well, where they're sending stuff up and then you've got falling debris.
Oh, yeah, I know.
That was amazing. Did you see some of the video footage over the States?
I did.
some of them. There was one in particular where this rocket was flying over this guy's house, and the witness managed to catch it on film, and the trails from it were like something out of Guardians of the Galaxy. It was amazing. Like, there was like these trails coming off it, and it was just great footage. And
chemicals, probably.
Yeah, whatever it was burning up, and there was bits kind of like, off the tail of it. Yeah, and it was cool. I've got to admit, there was a lot of footage from different parts of the world, and it was visible literally everywhere. They were getting video footage from Turkey, Iraq, the United States, where it was quite visible. I mean, I'm not even joking. It sailed over this guy's house. Now, I don't know how high it was, but got to imagine these things are big.
Yeah, massive, man.
But it seems like every sod's sending up stuff at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, and it's moving quicker and quicker by the looks of things. And talking about delivering packages...
Oh, go on.
China has finally landed an unmanned spacecraft onto Mars.
I was actually going to bring this up because, they have, haven't they?
They have indeed.
Landed a spacecraft on Mars for the first time ever.
How many vehicles are on there now? We're going to need traffic lights.
There's a couple, isn't there? Yeah. I hope they're all taxed and insured.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Road legal. Send an inspector, haven't we?
Well, they've sent theirs to more of an icy region, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. Is it known as the Utopia
Bay? Is it
Platina?
Yeah,
or Plateau? I should imagine. But it is. You said a package, which is quite appropriate because it's basically going to be sat in its box.
Yeah.
For a couple of days while it does diagnostic tests before rolling down the ramp to explore the icy region of Mars.
Smell the air of Mars.
Can you smell it?
Can you smell the bacon?
It's like what I was saying before about when you get off a plane for the first, when you've never been abroad before and you get off in Spain or Portugal or anywhere like that, and you're like, you can smell the heat. It's different. It's different heat.
Yeah. And it's steaming. What's that glowing in front
That's
of me?
That's what that rover's doing. But, China getting up there.
Yeah, the moon. They've done the back end of the moon. They're now on Mars. It'd be fucking...
Could China be seen as a bit of a a force to be reckoned with when it comes to space exploration?
I think, I think there's a big chance that since they've been starting to bring all the
it's funny that where they are looking to explore though, because it's always obviously with the moon, it was the dark side of the moon.
Yeah, but don't forget,
with this, they're looking at the icier regions, so
they might have been firing a number of them up there.
Well, I hope maybe I'm hoping that they're able to share discoveries and information.
Hey, China.
Share.
Please.
I mean with NASA, and SpaceX in terms of what they've discovered and how they can help each other.
Yeah, well, it's a dream world, but I hope so. Well, to be honest,
dream works makes the dreams work. Teamwork makes the dreams work. That's the one. So there's been a lot of UFO sightings.
Yes, there has.
Now, UFO sightings have leaked. The USS. The Omar video shows a trans-medium vehicles in the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
Which is something that's come out, a leaked video. USS Omar shows unidentified flying objects basically flying parallel to above the Pacific Ocean before hovering and then disappearing into a body of water. So we've discussed this before, that maybe they're hiding in the oceans.
USOs.
So this footage dates back to July 2019 when the ship was sailing off the coast of San Diego. The video was basically been shown on the Jeremy Corbell and shared by him as well as investigative filmmakers. So people have been looking into this video since 2019. I mean... Any answers?
Aliens.
Aliens. So this tweet by Jeremy Corbell went out. A US Navy photographed and filmed spherical shaped UFOs and basically, what is this? Trans-medium vehicles Here's some of the footage. So, filmed July 15th, 2019. Think like it seems to be more of this same sort of Pentagon-style footage of kind of like greyed out, not very kind of like visible.
I think as well that they've denied it's come from them as well.
So what they're saying that it's
basically the footage is like nothing to do with them.
So, well, where's it come from then?
Well, obviously it has come from somewhere, and it's probably more than likely come from them, but they're just denying it at the moment.
There you go.
As
do you know
always
what?
do, though, don't they?
Missed a story there.
What?
Oh, we missed a story, but we'll shave it for next time.
Shave it? Oh.
Shave it for next
It's
time.
a bit prickly.
Oh, no, it was a good story as well, that. I'll tell you after the show.
Okay.
Basically, the headline, right? Yeah. Do you want the headline?
Go on, give me the headline.
It was, mammals can apparently breathe out their anus when in danger.
I'm breathing it out of mine right now.
All clenched. Yeah, it might have been worth discussing, but anyway, the truth is out there.
Sounds like
have you got any NASA news you want to talk about?
I'm done with NASA.
Are you done?
I have got nothing left, mate.
I've got a couple of UFO incidents. This is apparently the truth is out there. The US must reveal secrets of the best ever UFO photo showing 100-foot craft over Scotland after the UK cover-up.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I remember this one, yeah.
So the photo's great.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is a mock-up, but like the one on the thingy. But Nick Pope, one of the world's leading experts in UFO, who probed the phenomena for the Ministry of Defense, has urged the Pentagon to publish the so-called, Carven photo.
Yeah, it was two Scottish lads up in Scotland, and they seen it coming behind a mountain, and then took pictures, and then it went back. So, and it was actually you remember the X-Files? You remember the picture behind him?
Yeah.
Well, actually, Nick Pope had that behind his in his desk, like in the X-Files, and his boss actually come in and took it down.
Really?
Yeah, and told him never to put it up again.
Probably because it's unprofessional in the workplace.
Well, no, because they're showing the proof right in front of their eyes.
Well, true.
You know what I mean?
Actually,
so it's like,
never bring that up again.
Yeah.
So this is it Calvine photo? I mean, the shape of it's like a diamond, isn't it? It's very kind of clear.
It's
quite
one
a good
of the clearest photos I've ever seen.
So why is he saying? I mean, obviously this was covered up in Scotland and the UK. So why are the Pentagon responsible for releasing information of this?
Because of joint commands, basically.
There you go.
You know what we know, they know. And what they know, we know.
If you're ever listening, Nick, come on the show. You can teach us a couple of things.
Yeah, the guy's a genius.
Guy's a Jedi. Yeah. I thought you were going to say then. I've got this last story. So, grandmother, this was sent to us by a listener as well. So if you do have any listeners out there that find stories and you think, I'd love to hear the guy's take on it, send it in.
Yeah,
send it
please,
to our email. neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. So this story was sent to us by Jake. Thank you, Jake.
Go on, Jake.
This is a story about a grandmother who claims she was abducted by aliens more than 52 times in her life. She's been aboard a UFO and says her unusual bruising on her body is proof.
Proof of what?
That she's been abducted. So Paula, 50, lives in Bradford. She says she was abducted by aliens 52 times in total. She claims the paranormal occurrences started when she was about 6 years old.
Right.
Added that she'd been on board an alien spacecraft and she's been shown technology, and claims that these bruises that she's got are basically support a story.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she's a grandmother of 2 and has claimed that she's been abducted. I mean, what can you say? I mean, she's adamant that it's true.
Well, possibility is out there.
Well, Paula, she's doesn't want to disclose her surname, but she's claimed that she's been abducted.
Can she bring proof to the...
I'm trying to find it.
Yeah.
She claims that she's... They just keep repeating themselves in this article.
Yeah, they
she basically says... there's no consistency with the experiences, but very few times she can sense something's about to happen, but she doesn't know what and when to expect anything. It just happens. There's no warning signs. All I can sense is something's going to happen there. Paula said the first encounter happened back in 1982. I was in the woods when it went completely silent. The pathway became narrower and I could hear my heart thumping. I recall looking into the darkness whilst my eyes adjusted, and I could see what looked like a boomerang shaped with an extra arm on it. Yeah. Each arm had lights at the end of it, and I recall 3 of the lights. One was blue, the other was green, and I couldn't recall the other colour of the light. I could describe it better as a propeller blade from an aeroplane. It was about 30 feet long, 30 feet tall, and 30 feet wide. It was black with a green and blue light on the edge and turned clockwise at 1 mile per hour in complete silence.
Mad.
So she has got a load of bruises on her, and some of them are kind of like, a bit kind of crop circly.
She needs to be investigated then.
Well, she says
hopefully she has been.
She remembered trying to run, but it felt like the ground was quicksand, and she sank to the ground, and then everything went black. According to her family, she'd been missing for 4 hours at times, but nobody knows exactly what's gone on. So what do you reckon to Paula? Do you think she might be legit?
She might be.
I'd like hypnosis. Get Paula under some hypnosis. Pretty sharpish. I want to know what's going on there.
I'd want to check as well to see if there's any foreign bodies in her.
How do you mean? Like any implants, probes?
Yeah.
Maybe.
There'd be more proof there.
Well,
there is.
So yeah, basically that's it. That's the NASA news for you. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. I really enjoyed the Green Man stuff. It was, it's quite interesting, and going back to the nature and like you were saying earlier, giants and stuff.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting to think.
There's a possibility there.
That might be a connection with these sort of like earlier inhabitants of the Earth. Yeah. Maybe there was a humanoid that was more nature.
Well,
in tune with it.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'd say I'd definitely say we used to be in tune with nature, but we've abandoned
it.
Away, yeah.
That's it. Get back to nature, guys.
Yeah, man.
Enjoy a bit of it.
Yeah.
That's the end of the show. If you've got any comments, questions, or suggestions, you know what to do. You can get in touch with us at neverastraightanswer or neverstraightanswer@gmail.com.
Oh yeah.
We're on Twitter at NASA_never, Instagram at neverastraightanswer. We're available on all podcast platforms, so wherever you get your podcasts, go and subscribe. You know it makes sense, Chuck.
It does.
It's lovely.
It does. It puts us a smile on our faces.
It does. We're available on Patreon if you want to get over there and support us. If you like what we do, you know what to do.
Love it.
You can go over there, and we've got several tiers. And as soon as people start putting in there, we might actually put some extra content on. You never know. The website is neverstraightanswer.co.uk, where we put all our content, so from videos to downloadable episodes, blogs, and much, much more.
It's all there.
neverstraightanswer.co.uk. And that's it, basically. Subscribe where you can. We're available on all podcast platforms and YouTube. So, well, anyone who's managed to get to the end of the show,
thank you.
We do salute you, and we do appreciate it. You fucking legend. And in fact, I'm going to give you a little one of these.
Give it.
Well,
deserved.
Me and Taylor will be back next week.
We will.
Where we've got an absolute great episode, and we even get some deep insights into our own personal psyches.
Oh yes, you don't want to miss that one. Oh yeah.
Well, enjoy your time. I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
This has been the Never a Straight Answer podcast. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Out.